Thanks for tuning in. Today I want to show you how to make this lovely card that I designed. And I got the idea for doing this dress pattern from some of my fellow demonstrators. This is a process that's called fussy cutting by some and paper piercing by others, but it's quick and easy to do and can make some wonderful cards. So she was made using the Floral Boutique Designer Series paper from Stampin' Up. This is a absolutely gorgeous paper set with the navy and white patterns that, if you've seen a couple of my other videos, I've used. And it's different front to back. So I was so inspired by how popular this card recently was and just how simple it was to make that I made a few others with this Designer Series paper in this same design. So I'm going to share those with you guys. Didn't those turn out great? This would make a wonderful gift set for a friend or family and could go for just about any occasion with the balloons. So let's get started in making this. So of course, for this project, you're going to need some of the Floral Boutique Designer Series paper stack. And you are also going to need this wonderful new stamp set that was in the Stampin' Up! Occasions 2017 catalog. This is the Beautiful You stamp set, and we're going to be using this lady, but you could also do the same technique with either of these other ladies. This has got a lot of wonderful sentiments for all kinds of occasions. And today I'm going to be using the wood mount, but it also is available in clear if you prefer the clear. The other thing you're going to need is the Balloon Bouquet Punch, also available from Stampin' Up! For 18 bucks. This is a lay flat style punch, which is really good, doesn't take up a lot of space, and it gives you two different balloon sizes. All right, so let's get started. To the side, plenty of room. Okay. So I'm going to start with a card base in the Night of Navy card stock. A whole pack is only 8 bucks for 24 sheets, so you can get a lot of card bases out of that. And then I cut out my Designer Series paper. Now I had some already left over from a class, but I cut it at 4 1/4 by 4. Excuse me. And then I also cut out another piece of the Night of Navy in 2 3/4 by 4 inches for that border, and a piece of white at 2 1/2 by 3 3/4. And then for my background white piece, I cut that at, I hope you can see that, 5 1/4 by 4. And you'll need an additional piece of white for the inside, as Night of Navy is a little dark to write on. So you can do a second piece in the 5 1/4 by 5 1/4 by 4, or you can do it in kind of my default size is 5 inches by 3 3/4 for insides. Okay, so those are all your measurements. So let's get started. I'm going to start with the 5 1/4 by 4 inch piece, and we're going to cut that in half using our paper trimmer. And basically we're going to cut it at 2 1/4, so it gives you 2 nice strips. All right, then we're going to take the smaller of the 2 strips. The bigger one is going to be for our back piece, but the smaller one and then our piece of white. And we're going to take our lovely lady and the archival Stampin' Up! Black ink pad. And we're going to stamp her twice. Now I like to stamp her kind of towards the corner so it gives the balloons a little more space, because if you have it centered they're going to be up a little higher. So, but just personal preference on that. Okay, there she is. And then I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to ink up and stamp this scrap piece. I just aimed for the bottom. Now this is just the right size, and I'm going to have a little bit left over at the top if you just stamp it at the bottom. Now, because it's a dark blue, I don't know if you can, oh, you can kind of see it. fun with lighting. Okay, so now I've got my 2 pieces. What's that? I'm going to take my Stampin' Up! Paper snips here, and I'm going to, you can see this, I'm going to very carefully cut out her dress. Now, you don't need to worry about her arms or just kind of the V in the dress, but you do want to follow that edge around. Now, if you notice in this one, she's got kind of a little spot for her sleeve. So, cut that. And compared to other stuff you may have cut out, this really doesn't take that long. It's not a very detailed dress, and I like to try to cut this sleeve just right at the elbow mark. Just like that. Okay, so there you have your basic dress, and it's just a really lovely pattern. You can trim it if you need to. Trim a little bit. Okay. So that is just going to go right on top, and you can just use the previous stamped one as a guide. And then we also have her hat. Now I do the same thing for the hat, and I also kind of take note, because depending on the pattern you may want it stamped somewhere else. But for the hat, we're just going to do just this top part. We're not going to focus on the face or the neck, so we're just going to get that top piece. I'll show you what I mean as I cut it. You can see that. Okay, so there's our cute little hat. I'm going to take that, and it's just going to get glued right on top, just like that. Isn't that really just quick and easy and so simple? So before I glue that, I'm going to go ahead and punch out my balloon pieces, so I just do all the gluing at once. So for this one, I use the smaller of the 2 balloons. So I'm just open that. And a trick for punching anything with the punches is if you flip it over, you can see exactly where you're punching, and just kind of slide that paper in and squeeze it. And I'm going to do one extra because I've, well, got the paper, and I kind of enjoy doing a balloon on the inside as well. Alright, and then for the other 2, I'm just going to do a scrap piece of the Night of Navy. Just punch out 2 more. Go. Okay, close that. Stick that out of the way. Alright, so now I'm going to take my Tombow, my multi-purpose liquid glue, and glue her down. I like to just do line and just hit the arms, so you don't have to go crazy with it. And then we'll do a dot for her hat. And just line it up, just like so. Okay. Little hat on top. Very, very quick and easy. Now for the balloons, I like to kind of do the 2 blue ones on the bottom. I mean, you can mix this up, of course, and just do them slightly off side. Now they're going to kind of go over the edge a little bit, and that's totally okay. So I'm just going to hit a little glue on the bottom, right there, and do a little glue on this one. There. Now for my Designer Series paper balloon, what I like to do to kind of give it a little pop is add a single dimensional. These are also available from Stampin' Up. just on the back of that center balloon, just to make it stand out on the top. Just like that. Okay. Now for the strings of the balloon, there's a couple different ways you can do that. Now when I first made this one, I actually used the Balloon Adventures stamp set from Stampin' Up! This is in the New Occasions catalog as well. And it has a really awesome set of balloon strings, which are just really simple and easy to use. But I realized for a class it might take a little while. So for the rest of mine, what I ended up doing, oh, where did I put it? Oh no, there it is. Okay, I ended up using the Stampin' Up! Project Life pen and just freehanding some strings. So you can really do either way. I mean, this is kind of an example of just me freehanding it. Just whatever your personal preference is. I just found that this way was a little faster than having to pull out the stamp, especially if I was going to use this for a class. So I'm going to kind of start under that balloon and just kind of loop it back and forth, and be sure to end it on her hand as she is holding them. And just like that. And then this last one, because you can't see the end, just start under here. There we go. So, quick and easy. And that is with the Project Life journaling pens. They're just awesome things to have. Alright, so next thing is we're going to glue our blue background piece. So take my white, just hit the corners, and glue it down so we have that edge showing all the way around. Just like that. Then we're going to get our card base and our background white and go ahead and glue those together. I just really like how it has that just that tiny edge of the navy showing up all the way around. Just like that. And then we're going to do our other piece, that strip that was left over, and glue that to the background. And you could also emboss this white too, would be really pretty in one of the Stampin' Up! Folders. So this is a great kind of project for any kind of scraps you have. You could do some different designer series paper as well. All right, then we're going to add our lady to the card. There you have it. So a nice simple card front. And then for the inside, I know I did this on some of these. Oh, not that one. I just glued the white down and then added the complimentary balloon on the inside, just kind of as a little simple detail. So that's another thing you can do. You don't have to, just to kind of spice it up. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Do subscribe to my channel if you haven't already so that you won't miss any other awesome videos, and do like and share. Thank you for checking it out, and I hope to see you guys in the next video. All right, bye-bye.